Games Galaxy. I've not been here in some time. It's one of those places you can just lose an hour in. I got a message about some Nintendo Switch collector's editions, so I did what anyone would do. Had a nice cup of tea and headed straight on over. But first, there's always something interesting in here. Let's have a look and see what else we can buy. Stuff like this everywhere. PlayStation 1, PS2, PS3, shelves and shelves of gaming greatness. Tomb Raider figures, remember these from the first movie? I used to have one of these. I think it came with a big robot. Let me know if you had them too. Record of Agarest War 2. Not one you see every day. A very PS3 era game. PS4 and PS5 sections looking pretty darn healthy. And always good to see some Trails of Cold Steel 3 out in the wild. Every time I come here, I'm tempted to start a Mega Drive collection. £100 boxed really doesn't help. I love these cases, but I really shouldn't. N64, not much I'm missing for a full collection right now, but always worth a check. There's some really nice Japanese titles here, however. Might be the direction I need to go once PAL's done. Box Game Boy, I'm still figuring out what I want from this collection. But when I do, I'll definitely be back. Some serious Switch titles here. A few I've been keeping an eye on. But he did say there was something in the back. Something special indeed. Xenoblade Chronicles Collector's Edition for the Nintendo Switch. I skipped this when it first came out. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see it here. I'm gonna have to really think about that. You know, the older I get, the more I appreciate the Nintendo Wii. So many great games hidden on that console. And yeah, Xenoblade again. I think it's trying to tell me something. GameCube, still deciding how deep I go with this one. Sports, kids games, it all adds up. Now, did you know that there's both an NHL 2003 and an NHL 2K3? Some interesting titles here though. Micro Machines, Metal Arms glitching the system. Oh dear. This could get expensive. Back to Nintendo Switch, there's quite a lot of games I don't have in the collection. But honestly, that Xenoblade is still in the back of my mind. I did spot this one though. Super Zangura. Never seen that one before. Right. Decision time. I just can't leave Xenoblade. It just means so much to me. I'm going to have to get it. But every quest ends in the same way. We return to camp. See you there. Back at camp, and it's been an epic trip to Games Galaxy Concert. Honestly, I always have a great time there. It's one of the few places that I feel absolutely captures the classic game hunting of the late 90s. And of course, I came away with plenty of treasure. Well, GameCube, we'll look at that first. So, it's been an interesting time for GameCube. I'm very much nearing 100 GameCube games. So, of course, I'm going to have to start looking at some more obscure titles. And the first one we're going to talk about is Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. Now, in the early noughties, we had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and we had SSX along with SSX Tricky. And that, of course, ushered in a new era of extreme sports with things. So we had aggressive inline, the roller skating one, which we talked about not long ago. And we also had Dave Mirra's Pro BMX. We had, I think, another BMX one. We had BMX Triple X. We had the snowboarding games. And of course, they had to try their hand at surfing. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, I tried this one and it was very difficult to get into it. You kind of got to ride the waves, and I just kept falling into the water over and over again. I'm going to try again. This is one that is probably the cheapest of all of the extreme sports games, but I think it's one of those ones where it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get into. Not quite as pick up as player as Dave Mirra or Tony Hawk. And with sports, we've got to look at, well, a lot of the ball sports. Now, you probably saw in the actual footage itself, they have Maddens, they have NFL, they have NHLs. But we also have, being in the UK, we have a lot of the FIFAs and stuff like that. And I'm not being sure on whether or not I like to pick all of these up, but I thought I'd try Virtual Striker 3. Version 2002. Now, Sega was on a bit of a roll at this point. They were obviously trying to throw whatever at the wall and see if it stuck. And Sega has always had a pretty decent football game out there. So I thought I'd try this one, and yeah, it's very much kind of half management, half sports kind of thing. And yeah, I've had an okay time with it. It's not one that I'm going to turn around and say, oh, it's one of the best games on the console, but yeah, if you want a bit more arcadey style playing of football, along with a lot of managerial stuff, this one's probably for you. Next up is a classic, and I mean an absolute classic. This is one that I was absolutely beloved on both the Super Nintendo and the Sega, and personally I really enjoy the installments on the PlayStation 1 and the N64. The GameCube one, however, is a little bit different, and this is where the franchise started to fall off, in my opinion. Micro Machines. Now, I've had my eye on this particular release for quite some time. It's Micro Machines. Ton of nostalgia with the original versions of these games. So, how does the GameCube one hold up? It's fine. I don't know, it just feels... It feels like they did a Micro Machines for the sake of doing the Micro Machines. I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as... I don't know, madcap as the earlier installments. And even, I can't use the excuse that, oh, it's the first foray into 3D, because I genuinely do love Micro Machines V3 / Micro Machines 64 on the PS1 64 consoles. This one, I don't know, they took away a lot of the characters from the original ones and just kind of had, oh, you know, we've got a superhero, or we've got a pretty girl, or we've got an old man, or we've got an old granny, and it's all kind of like, yeah, look at these are funny archetypes, and I don't know, it just kind of felt that it was missing something. It didn't feel quite as intense as the original games, but it's one that I still enjoyed. I've still actually played through, had a good playthrough of this game. And yeah, it's still Micro Machines, but I don't know, it just felt like there was something missing from this Micro Machines release. Maybe it was the focus on the characters rather than the fun, wacky cars. That might just be me. Next up is one game that is considered a hidden gem amongst GameCube collectors, and I can certainly see why. This is another one that I have had my eyes on for quite some time, and I just never managed to find a good copy of it until today. Metal Arms Glitch in the System. Now, I'm going to be honest, this very much feels like a Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know if it's the fact that it's still kind of like robots. I mean, even the character looks like Clank, only with a gun, and it's the whole kind of like cartoonish slash gun and run kind of game. I don't know, I just kind of got the same vibe from this as I did Ratchet and Clank. I haven't really played a huge amount of it, but what I did, I was just like, yeah, I can see straight away why this game is going to be a hidden gem on the console. It's one that, once I eventually managed to get past Twilight Princess and open up and play more of my GameCube games, this one is going to be number one on my list. I'm really excited to try this one out a little bit more. Have you guys tried it? Let me know in the comments. What did you guys think of Metal Arms? A lot of people have said it's an absolute classic. A lot of people have said it's one worth trying. And from early impressions, I think I'm inclined to agree. Absolutely perfect. If you like this kind of content, leave a like and consider subscribing, and we'll get onto the Switch games, because oh my god, Games Galaxy came in absolute clutch with the Nintendo Switch. I always feel weird about going to a retro game shop and buying a ton of Switch games, but I'm going to be honest, the Nintendo Switch is one of the most fun consoles to play for, and the reason being is that it's got a wide array of fantastic titles, plus a ton of hidden gems. And this one, the first one, is one that I never even heard of, Super Zangura. Now, the logic behind this is that I believe this is a remake or remaster of an older title brought to us by Red Art Games, which we will start seeing a lot of their releases in the next few weeks. But yeah, this is basically the plot of Castlevania, but instead of Simon Belmont or the Belmont family rocking up, we've got a maid with a morning star. And yeah, I was playing through this and it was a very enjoyable pick up and play arcadey Castlevania style title, very much more reminiscent of early Castlevania rather than the Metroid, you know, like the labyrinth of castles and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't had a huge amount of time invested in this one, but what I have played, I have very much enjoyed. Absolutely charming, very colourful, very pick up and play, very arcadey. Like I said, it's one of those ones where you can just pick up and play if you don't fancy Castlevania or you fancy a different spin on Castlevania. This one, honestly, I think this one is going to be an absolutely fantastic hidden gem in the near future. Speaking of labyrinths, now this is a title that came out not long ago, and it was a title I looked at and I saw straight away. I was like, I'm waiting for that one to get reduced in price, because that is going to get dropped in price so fast. And I was right. £10, Shadow Labyrinth. So this is one of those games that kind of came out and just went, and there was like no fanfare, there was like no kind of like hype up for it. But this is a reimagining of Pac-Man. That's right, Pac-Man. And yeah, it's a 2D action platformer which has a twist on Pac-Man. And yeah, it's so weird that we have a Pac-Man game that's kind of came out and just kind of went and nobody's really talked about it, to the point I looked at it and I was just like, oh, that looks good, but I know for a fact that it's going to be so cheap in the near future. 10 quid, I've always said it, 10 quid, anything somewhat interesting on the Nintendo Switch, goes in the collection. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest, I have not had the time to invest in this. I made sure it worked and that was about it, but I think for 10 quid, I mean, even if it's a 6 or 7 out of 10 game, I think we're going to have a good time of it. Have you guys played Shadow Labyrinth? Let me know in the comments. So, guys, I went to Games Galaxy on a mission. I went on a quest. And they told me that they had some very interesting Switch games. And when I got there, they pulled it out. They pulled out the biggest weakness I've got. A title, a franchise that is absolutely near and dear to my heart. A franchise that's got me back into gaming after a particularly bad spell. I couldn't say no to this. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition Collector's Set. Xenoblade Chronicles came just at the right time for me. I was getting quite disillusioned with the state of gaming at late noughties, early tens. The likes of Call of Duty, generic first-person shooting games were ruling the roost. And the Wii was on its back legs. We had promises of stuff like Skyward Sword coming out later in the year, and that was kind of the only game that I was looking forward to at that point. However, there was rumblings of a new JRPG coming out, and JRPGs had been done kind of not great over the last few years. The DS and PlayStation Portable were running strong, but on consoles we lost the likes of Breath of Fire, we lost the likes of Suikoden. Final Fantasy 13 says it all, an absolute abysmal entry to the franchise. But Xenoblade Chronicles came out, and to me, that saved gaming for me. It made me realise that there was light at the end of the tunnel, and it wasn't just that. We had Skyrim come out not long after, we had Skyward Sword come out not long after, but I think for me that was the big turning point for gaming for me, when I got really back into it. So Xenoblade Chronicles got multiple more entries. We got Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, probably my favourite Wii U game, and probably my favourite game of 2025 when it got a remaster. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we got a 3DS version of it, and during COVID, when I really needed it once again, Xenoblade Chronicles came back out. Now, at that time, I got the standard edition, but I knew as soon as I saw this, I had to get it. Now, collector's editions post Wii U era, I kind of haven't bothered with it. I got the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I got the Valkyria Chronicles 4 one, I got the Nier Automata ones, but yeah, I had to get these. This is just perfect for me. A game that means so much, a game that I still consider the pinnacle of JRPGs. But as soon as you pulled that out, my face was just like, I had to have it. I knew I had to have it. I did consider this when I went to Doorway to Darkness about a year ago, when it was just like, that was on the shelf, and I was like, yeah, I knew as soon as I saw it, and I was just like, I'm not letting this thing escape me once again. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I think it might be time for another replay of this as well. Absolutely fantastic. I consider this to be the gold standard of JRPGs in the modern era. A fantastic franchise, a fantastic entry, a fantastic collector's edition. Absolutely fantastic day at Games Galaxy concert. It's always fantastic to be able to grab a few mates, get yourself up there and just have a rummage around, and I'm finding time after time the treasures are there. I'm finding games more and more times that I want. GameCube, N64, Switch. There's always something for me there. I can't wait to go again in the near future. If you like this kind of video, check out this video up here. We've got a Nintendo Switch haul with a bunch of potential future hidden gems. See you over there.